My name is Kathleen Marden, and I am an independent researcher, but I am also associated with the Mutual UFO Network as their Director of Experiencer Research. And what my team does is we assist experiencers who are looking for help or for support. I have a team of individuals who range from medical doctors to psychologists to ministers to paranormal researchers. And anyone who goes to MUFON.com and goes to that website and then looks on the main page for the Experiencer Research Team can click on that, and it will lead you to a questionnaire. If they complete that questionnaire, there are 30 questions. They will be assigned to a member of my team. It will give them a non-judgmental person that they can share their experience with, and so many people feel a lot better just by sharing that experience that they've never been able to tell anyone about without ridicule. It's incredible how it changes a person's life, how they feel a lot better just by doing that. We're not doing therapy. We're not doing investigation, so to speak, but we're doing non-judgmental listening. And if people are looking for a hypnotherapist who specializes in that field, or they're looking for a support group, most of the support groups do not have a charge. All of the hypnotherapists have been vetted. There are psychotherapists as well for people who have to work through trauma, because most hypnotherapists are not trained in and licensed as mental health professionals. Most hypnotherapists are certified. And so we have both. We have the hypnotherapists and we have the licensed individuals. They all charge for their services, and rightfully so, because they are professionals, they're licensed, they have to pay for their offices, they have to pay for their licenses. And so, but they do help these individuals who want to go to them. We also do research, and we have a research project going on right now that will determine commonalities among experiencers. So that is part of what I do. It's very important to me with my family's situation to be able to provide this help to individuals who feel that they need it. I also work with the Foundation for Research into Extraterrestrial Encounters with a team of scientists who are looking at all of this. Many of these scientists are astrophysicists, and they are looking at the interdimensional aspects of this. I find this extremely fascinating because so many experiencers talk about the interdimensional aspects, that these beings are able to come through walls, are able to come through closed windows. And so I started to ask physicists, is this even possible, or is this all a product of their imaginations? And these physicists have said to me, yes, indeed, it is theoretically possible, because theoretically, everything has a vibrational frequency. And if you increase that vibrational frequency, the atoms energize and they move faster. And the faster they move, the more separated they become. Individuals can become invisible at that point. Matter can interpenetrate when that takes place, when the frequency and the phase is lined up. And so I was really happy to hear that it is theoretically possible, and it has even been done in a laboratory on a very small scale. We humans have a long way to go, but for any civilization from a distant planet to be able to come to this planet Earth, they have to be years ahead of us in their technological development. So I find this fascinating. FREE also has a questionnaire to determine commonalities among experiences. Not only is that taking place in the United States, it's being done in several foreign languages as well. And we're finding that individuals from around the world are having these common experiences. I'm also looking into the paranormal aspects of this. 88% of experiencers in a study that Denise Stoner and I did in 2012 stated that they had paranormal experiences taking place in their homes, and they somehow were connected to their UFO contact experiences, contact with aliens. This was very perplexing to me, and so we looked further into that. FREE found that 66% observed intelligently controlled light orbs in their homes, and MUFON is discovering similar results, although our study has not been entirely completed at this point, so I'm not going to give statistical data. But this is a trend. So there is so much that we need to learn, and it is wonderful to be working with a team of scientists and social scientists as well. All of these individuals are professors emeritus. They were in academia, and now that it is safe for them to follow their interests because they have retired, they don't have to worry about retribution, about losing their funding. They can do this, and they're doing terrific work. It's very exciting for me to be working with them. There's so much that we need to learn. And another interest that I have is the history of government involvement in the investigation of UFOs, their findings, and their decision to cover up their findings, and the individuals who were involved in the cover-up. Dating all the way back to World War II, the Army, Air Corps, Air Force was interested in Foo Fighters. And then after that, in 1946, there were ghost ships over and ghost rockets over Sweden. Some of them landed, and some credible individuals saw these crafts that had landed, and there were non-human entities who were standing on the ground outside these craft. In 1947, they did a secret study. The Air Materiel Command did a secret study, and they determined that these objects, these flying discs, were metallic. They could outfly the aircraft that we had. They had rapid rates of acceleration. They could fly vertically and horizontally. They appeared not to come from this earth. They continued their study into 1948. They had cases that were a matter of national security. Many of these sightings were by Army, Air Corps pilots, and they discovered that they appeared to be extraterrestrial in origin. By 1952, there was another study, and 27% of the cases studied by Project Blue Book at that point were true unknowns. They were not balloons, they were not astronomical, they were not conventional aircraft, they were not hoaxes, they were not other. The hoaxes averaged about 2%. In 1955, the Air Force conducted the largest study ever done. This was Blue Book Special Report number 14. In Blue Book Special Report number 14, at the prestigious Battelle Memorial Institute, they in-depth studied 3,201 cases, and they discovered that 21.5% of those cases were true unknowns. They could not be assigned to a prosaic category. And so the decision was made back in 1953, when the CIA became involved in this, that they should cover it up. Their reason given at that time was that we were in a Cold War with Russia. They feared that Russian operatives within the United States would report UFO sightings, that the communication lines would be jammed up during a preemptive strike on the United States by Russia. And so they thought that they should do their best to eliminate public interest in this because of that possible threat during a time of war. It did not reduce public interest. Public interest has been very high, off and on, over many, many years. What is it, 70 years or more at this point, 70 years from 1947, when this interest was aroused by the Air Force. We always wonder if we're going to come to a point of disclosure. More and more documents are being released at this point. The CIA has just released documents. I don't know if disclosure is just around the corner or not. I've been hearing that for 30 years, and it hasn't happened yet. But we are having disclosure on a daily basis from credible people, from highly intelligent scientists who have looked into this. We're just not having official disclosure from the President of the United States. But I don't know if that is going to happen, or if it's going to happen from the President of any other country around the world. We are a warlike civilization. We're not slowing down. Human aggression continues. Spirituality has not increased. Our human consciousness has not increased, apparently. We're hoping to see a growth in that. And I am hoping to see people become more spiritually inclined, for people to become more caring about one another, for people to look outside themselves and their little family group, to do good work for other people, to be kinder to people around the world, to realize that we are one. I don't care what religion people are, what race people are, what nationality people come from. We're all humans. We're all spiritual beings living on this earth. And I think it's time for us to come together, to cooperate, to put greed aside, to put military operations aside. For us to be able to cooperate, we have these outside individuals. I don't want to call them invaders, but visitors from space who are coming here, and some of them are invaders, I believe, who are a threat to this world. It's time for us to make a cooperative effort to raise our spirituality, to become one as people who care about one another, to stop walking around blind.